entertainment spread the God and Father Greg, the SmackDaddies. The revolutionary podcast of sports entertainment is spread the Dad and Father Greg, the SmackDaddies.
Hello, friends, and welcome to your SmackDown review for The Hub. I am Brad the Dad, and riding shotgun with me is my tag team partner, Greg, Father Feltham.
Bless you, my son.
What do we want to talk about first today, Greg? Do we want to actually talk about SmackDown first, or do we want to talk about the, I use the word fight in a very loose term, Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson?
The loading screens all around the world?
Oh, okay, so you really want to get into this.
Yeah, like, what in God's name? I was worried, right? I think we all were worried when this fight was initially announced. I actually happened to be out last night at a event where this was on, and the first part of the event was fine. We left actually basically as SmackDown was ending and came home, and I got home here to find out my child is home here with our dog watching the fight, and he decides, all right, I'm going to bed. I really don't care about watching one of the Paul brothers and an old man fight later. I'm going to bed tonight. Fair enough. I turn it on. I watch the women's fight, and that froze a few times on me. And then, of course, we have to wait like an hour for the main event to start after it. So that was a challenge, to say the least. But yeah, at the end of the day, it was marred by Netflix just crap in the bed. And I know there was I think they announced 110 million viewers or something ridiculous on that stream. And I know when WWE moves there, we're not going to have anything like that for that many people trying to connect. 120 million is what Paul referenced.
Yes,
but it's concerning, right?
So you're right for 90% of things. It's the one thing that might get anywhere near this fight. Give you it's one word.
Oh,
WrestleMania.
Well, no, I don't even think that.
But if it gets a 50 and we start having problems, Greg, like I think like worldwide where everybody has Netflix, like it could be, there'll be a lot more WrestleMania watches this year than there's been in any year before.
Yeah, so here's where I'm really concerned, because I wasn't aware of this, and I've actually texted my brother, who is still long asleep at this point. But during that show, I actually watched it this morning because I gave up. I didn't watch the end of I didn't watch the the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight until first thing this morning. I watched that before I watched the SmackDown replay, simply because I couldn't sit there any longer and curse that I'm paying $25 a freaking month for Netflix and can't get the goddamn system to play what I want it to play. So that being said, watched it this morning, and then they announced on that, and I just probably have not been paying attention. But Christmas Day, Kansas City Chiefs versus Pittsburgh Steelers, and my brother is a diehard Steelers fan, so I know he's going to be bloody insufferable on Christmas Day. But with the NFL having 2 games on it on Christmas Day, oh man, I'm starting to get really worried about Netflix. They're going to have to figure their shit out quick. Like, you'd swear to God, this is run like on a Mac Mini or something like that. Like,
it's run on a MacBook Pro from 2013. Like, what the hell, guys? No, and listen, I'll tell you,
don't be dissing those 2013 MacBook Pros that I have one here in front of me that every day. Like, those things are workhorses, dude.
Yeah, but the Mac Mini, I'll tell you, the one that comes to mind, if you're going to talk about the Lemon Mac, it is the last generation of Intels that were in the Airs and the Pros and whatever else came out with them. And those ones, there's a reason why they made their own chips, and it wasn't because they're Apple. So I watched the fight. I gave up. I started nodding off during the Nia Jax put me to sleep. That boring match with Naomi put me to sleep. And I watched it back in the morning, and my opinion has not changed much. So I watched the Tyson fight first, And I'll tell you the pro tip for those of you who haven't watched the fight, which is probably just me and Greg at this point. Watch it at 1.5 after the first 2 rounds. It's a much better fight at 1.5.
That actually would have been better advice. I probably should have done that this morning, but yeah.
It was because Tyson looked like he had some life in his legs
At
that point.
1.5?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
He still didn't move his feet very much, but that's the story of that fight, Greg.
Yeah.
First of all, the story of that fight was that Mauro Ranallo is the best fight correspondent in the game, and that poor Mike Tyson needs the money. And yeah, Jake Paul's way bigger than...
The story of that fight, Brad, is at the very end, and I don't know if you stayed around, but after the fight was over and they did the in-ring stuff with Ariel Helwani, Mike Tyson basically challenges the former United States champion, Logan Paul. And I'm kind of hoping, I'm like, God damn, you get that in WrestleMania. The Hall of Famer versus the former United States champion.
Oh, that's a great one. And you know what? Do it as a boxing match. Actually, scratch that. Do it as whatever you want to call it, but please, please, please let it be wrestling under wrestling rules, not under real rules, because Tyson needs to knock him out. And yeah, it needs to be scripted. We just need to own that.
Yeah. So I don't know. We shall see. We shall
see. So yeah, Greg, I guess we're getting so that's pretty much the news of the week. For all the people who wish my mom a happy birthday, thank you. I got a few nice messages. Her birthday went off without a hitch. She had no idea until...
I was going to say, how was the surprise with the emergency at the hall?
So we changed the plan because we realized the emergency at the hall was not going to work. So what happened was my wife's partner has an uncle who has been working with my dad to fix their house in New Brunswick. And he happens to be in town visiting his kids. So he goes over to the hall and they said there's something going on for veterans because he's former service. And so they come over to the hall expecting, some sort of Legion event. Right. And when she gets there, she goes, she feel like I figured we were doing something at my brother's house, like, a little get together with some family. But she didn't, when they moved them over to the hall, she had no idea what was going on. She just thought, oh, I guess there's nothing going on. And then she sees the happy birthday as she's walking through the door and realizes, oh, shoot.
Oh,
now, meanwhile, my mom's a gangster. She is the only person that can wear that stupid hat. For those of you, our Dollar General up in Canada is Dollarama. She has that stupid birthday hat with the candles on it.
Right.
Yeah, I have a picture. I'll put it up when I put up the episode. My mom looks like a G.
That's fair.
And then I admitted to her that, I told everybody in the podcasting world that this was happening.
Oh, my. Oh, my. Oh, my. Oh, my. So, yeah.
What about you, Greg? How was the bachelor life this week?
Survived it. I got to do it again next week, so we'll see.
You haven't killed your kid yet?
Haven't killed my kid. Actually, it's funny. As my wife walked into the door with me on Thursday night after I picked her up at the airport, my son looks at her dead in the eyes. It's like, hey, we're both alive.
Right? Oh, Greg.
Like, okay, thanks, kid. I'm your full support, unwavering support.
Yeah, it's one of those things where the kid's like, yeah, do you not know what month this is? It is deep into November. Today is November 16th, friends, which means we are a little over 6 weeks till Christmas. Less than 6 weeks to Christmas. We're 5 weeks to Christmas.
Right. We
6
are.
weeks left. 6 weeks left dealing with Sportsnet is what I'm counting the episodes, Greg. 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 episodes left on Sportsnet.
5 more episodes till we have to deal with Netflix. We know how well that went last night.
Yeah, I was more hopeful than I was after last night. Although, you know what? All that said, we did not have any buffering issues. The only issue we ran into here was that I had to upgrade my Netflix plan. I've been living with the 2 to 2.
Oh, okay.
and I have two addresses registered on the account, which is one is my mother-in-law's, so that we've never run into it. Believe it or not, my mother-in-law's been on this account for almost a year and a half. We've never run into the occasion where more than three people are watching Netflix at the same time. Because normally by the time my kids get on Netflix, my mother-in-law is long in bed. But she must have been watching something last night.
Probably
And
fight.
no, she was watching something like Bridgerton or some stupid thing.
I don't know.
So she was binging some Netflix series. And my wife is down here, and my son cannot watch the first part of the fight. He wants to watch it with his buddies, and he knows that some of the language will not be appropriate for mom with the guy at locker room talk.
I mean, so is that the talk of the buddies, or is that the talk that you're going to hear in the back of the locker room when you see Mike Tyson's ass? Like, I'm not sure, right? Like,
yeah, I think the conversation they were having quite a conversation. So the other thing is they consume media much differently than we do. Like, I've been to wrestling with you. Generally, we chat a little bit, but we're watching the matches. If we're live, if we're watching it like over something like a stream, we're not the most talkative people. There's a reason why we don't do a live stream.
Yeah.
While watch around with SmackDown, we're taking notes. We're not very lively. Where those kids are just chirping the whole way through. Like, I can hear them while I'm watching SmackDown in a different room. They're just they have a group chat on and they're just chirping the whole fight. And fair enough, because that fight they were chirping through the first fight, where Buddy's face got beat in.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was interesting to say the least. It was a spectacle. So
I'm going to go back and watch the women's fight this afternoon, because apparently that's the fight of the night.
Do you know what? That was a great fight. I watched that one in its entirety live, and yeah, controversial finish in that one. So you'll have to.
I've heard. My wife was already chirped. She didn't say who won. She just said that the judges are blind.
Yeah, that's what the sound of it from the commentators and stuff were. So yeah, that's.
And the other thing that she quoted was that she said in many PLEs, the PLEs move at a brisk pace compared to the Tyson stuff because they had so much wraparound.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm thinking to myself when I saw it, it's like, okay, it's a 4-match card, right? This won't be that bad. And
oh no, you and I could have watched the episode last night, recorded an episode. Even though you were starting late, we could have probably done it and still been ready for watch the Tyson fight live.
Dude, you could have made a snack. Like, easily.
It was, dude, what is wrong with, like, I don't get it. I do not think this needed to be a 4.5 hour thing, other than, yeah, I don't know if there's some metric that counts, like streaming hours, somebody gets a bonus. I don't know, but you're right. The main lesson learned was, I hope you get your glitches out of your system before the NFL on the 25th, and more importantly, I'm watching SmackDown, I think, on the 2nd of January. So that would be really bad if you suck that badly then, because I'll be sad.
Yeah, no, for sure. So, yeah.
Okay, so, now we've delayed. We've dallied. Let's get on.
We've dallied, but before we continue on, Brad, just want to give a quick shout out here. Kaizen Pro Wrestling here in Dartmouth tonight is putting on a big show. So if you are in town here and you happen to catch this on Saturday, November 16th, Albany Landing, 6:45, doors open, 7:30 bell time. I can't unfortunately make it, but one of my colleagues at work wrestles for these guys, and I definitely got to make it out to their show soon. But
I know one of the other wrestlers, so I know two, and I have a buddy that would want to go with us. So so there is a masked female wrestler that wrestles for this promotion who is a young Lebanese lady who happens to be because it's Halifax, guys. I wish I was like, this is not this white dude being racist. Like, he has 32 first cousins, and one of them is their female wrestler on this roster.
Oh, nice.
So they put on a great show. They use the theater space, which is a really good viewing space for anything. So Kaizen Pro Wrestling, I'll have to look up their tag on socials and just give them a shout out.
Yeah, we should. Yeah, we've got to one of these Saturday nights we've got to make it over there. So we'll figure it out.
Guys, we're busy. We're busy dads, and most importantly, we're sleepy dads. So
just, Tell me about it.
All right, yes, as Greg is the hockey dad, I had a shift that started super early, and yeah, it threw my week off.
I bet.
It's
Well,
super early and super late. Let's go, brother.
Talk about this episode 1317 from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We have SmackDown.
So, Greg, this is the pre-show for the Mike Tyson fight, and we start with our new standard, which is wrestlers walking in without their makeup on, without their gear on, just kind of walking in. The Motor City Machine Guns and Street Profits arrive, and Nia and Naomi both do their walk-ins. You know what's even funnier about all of this? Naomi and Nia Jax are in a feud. Have you seen the social media accounts where they have them, they're jogging, and then somebody is jogging next to you, and they say, suspect, da-da-da-da-da?
No, because all I could still see now as I see Naomi walk in was like, dear God, what did she dig into Cody Rhodes' inheritance closet and find one of Dusty's old t-shirts? Like,
no, okay. So those videos are worth seeking out, Greg, because my favorite one was it's clearly Naomi jogging with Nia Jax. One is Tiffany jogging, and it's Naomi again. She's like, suspect's on the run, and she's running on her way to getting new gear made, which is definitely going to break and malfunction, which is a reoccurring Tiffany joke. And then with Naomi, it was a deep cut. With Naomi, it was suspects running, and she has split ends, and that's why she wears that big old weave. It's like, damn, that's. And Nia's was worse. Suspect is running, and she must be going to get a new dog because she can't make emotional attachment with a man.
Ooh.
Like, you guys are supposed to be friends. And in fact, I'm pretty sure Naomi and Nia are actually technically family.
Oh, that's funny.
So, yes. Okay, so Cody's out. But before we can get Cody to say a bloody word, recap one. The death of Randy Orton. Randy Orton has got a nice paid vacation, Greg, and good for him.
He does, in fact, yeah.
So Cody wants to get his hands on Kevin Owens. He's calling him out, and our buddy Nicholas comes out. The authority figure. Nick is out, and he is...
impotent authority figure.
The what?
Impotent authority figure.
I like how Cody had to correct himself and say, you were a wrestler, and then he had to say, no, you are a wrestler during this promo. He wants Owens out there. He won't let him... So Cody wants Owens out there. Nick won't let him have it because he needs him out of the locker room. Cody points out, hey, dude has a Lambo. Have you seen the pictures of his Lambo, by the way?
I have not.
Okay, there is pictures of his Lambo. And then to totally break this storyline, there's video of Randy Orton and Kevin Owens hanging out by the Lambo and Randy checking out his new car.
Yeah.
So the money's not going to hurt Kevin, needless to say. But this is about Nick not being impotent and being able to show off his authority. Greg, then Cody does the Cody personal thing. He's the code man. And Randy Orton said he was proud of him. Oh my gosh, he was proud of him, Greg. And now he needs his buddy back. He wants to beat up Kevin Owens. If you don't let me fight him in this ring, I'm going to go to his house. Greg, do you want him to go to his house and have a fight?
Only if he hangs out in the pool.
You're really digging LA Knight tonight.
Apparently.
What about if he beats down his front door with a sledgehammer and throws him through the window like we talked about last week?
Could do that. I mean, they're going to pull a gun on him next, or...
I'm like, wait, aren't home invasion angles like money in WWE? Why would we not want this to happen? I think that's exactly what Nick wants to happen.
God, oh my gosh.
So did this work to build up the match, which I don't think is on Survivor Series? I think this is Saturday night's main event.
Oh, I don't know if it's even going to make it there.
You think we're getting it on a Friday?
No, I think this may hold till Rumble.
Oh, gross.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be Saturday night's main event, and the match is going to be thrown out, and then that'll take us to Rumble.
Possibly, yeah.
So you heard that there were double tapings this week, right?
for SmackDown or for Raw? I knew Raw was a double taping. I didn't think SmackDown was.
No, SmackDown. I don't know if SmackDown was. I'll let my crack research team. You call the crack research team, get them look onto it.
Okay.
But I know they had a book next week's SmackDown and this SmackDown in light of the fact that Raw was doubled. So a lot of the stuff is already set up. So we know where things are going. We don't have to guess. I don't know if this match. I know that Cody's not booked for Survivor Series. That's the thing that I know for sure. So
Yeah, because next week they're in Utah. I think they're doing a double taping next week in Utah.
okay, yes, to give them some time off for Thanksgiving. Well, listen. I got to give a big shout out to WWE for the quality of life improvements that they're making.
Yeah, like there's no reason why you couldn't do stuff like that. Like, I mean, you don't want to do it all the time for sure. But yeah, it totally makes sense.
Yes, and which gives me hope that during the Christmas week that I would say that the episode we're going to get, that's the last one on USA for both Raw and SmackDown, are both going to be taped. Like they're or not either taped or clips.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, which is what nobody's really watching those. I'm sorry, and we cover this. We'd watch it if there's something worth watching, but probably not.
Nope, that's fair.
So we are into the women's U.S. title tournament. The first round is all triple threat matches, and we're going to get one tonight to start. Bayley versus Candice LeRae versus B-Fab. I didn't even know B-Fab still wrestled.
I didn't.
I don't want to criticize somebody who doesn't wrestle very often, but the story of this match was the other two ladies making B-Fab look good.
Yeah, essentially. That's what we had here.
And I'm not saying she's a bad wrestler. I think she's a great manager. I think that if this lady had some time to train, you can see there's some raw talent there. It just, she doesn't get enough reps.
No, it's fair.
So B-Fab starts off watching, which makes the match better. And then she hits a double clothesline before our commercial break. The story of this match is everybody is trying to sneak a pin in, and they're not dummies. So they're not like trying to pin while somebody else is in the ring. They're like trying to toss people out of the ring, which is brilliant. This is like somebody finally said, wait a second, you can't win a triple threat match with all the wrestlers in the ring.
Yeah.
I don't know who's agenting all these new matches, but boy, oh boy, it looks better than it has before.
It makes sense, right?
Yeah. My favorite move was Candice LeRae landing the code breaker on Bayley while B-Fab was on all fours. So she crushes B-Fab.
Yeah, and then came down on her back or whatever.
Yeah, and hits the code breaker on Bayley.
Yeah, no, that was a great spot in that match. I love that.
Then we have our classic Tower of Doom spot, but the twist on it is that Candice LeRae shifts her body and lands a crossbody on Bayley while B-Fab's doing the powerbomb, which if B-Fab doesn't break it up, that's a win. B-Fab hits this like very complicated neck breaker thing. She's got some moves, Greg. It's just, yeah. And then we start the series of what I described at the beginning, throwing people out. And eventually Bayley rolls up B-Fab for the win because B-Fab tries to hit the Booker sidekick and is just too slow, and Bayley sees it coming and rolls her up. So Bayley's moving on in the tournament. How do we feel about this?
Not surprised. Yeah.
Does it make sense?
Does it make sense? Yes, but it seems very much like as you watch this, two of these things don't belong. So it sounds like that to me, this was, winning by the two sweetest words in the English language, default.
Right. No, it's fair, Greg. The other thing I will say to you, my friend, is that Candice has a role and B-Fab has a role. She's a manager, and Candice is going to work into something else later in the show. That's pretty much, if we can't guess what in our promo clip last night, it talked about who we think is going to be in the War Games match. I think you and I could definitely lay out the Women's War Games match now.
Probably, yeah.
Without looking at Raw spoilers, by the way.
Assuming that they're going to do a Women's War Game match.
They pretty much telegraphed it if you look at the Raw spoilers, but I would say we're getting our match, especially given the main event. When I saw the main event today, I'm glad I went back and watched it because I fell asleep during part of that. And so I had notes for the end and the beginning, and then the middle part was actually kind of important.
Fair enough.
I wrote Eli Drake originally, but it's L.A. Knight.
Yeah.
More like L.A. Knight.
Yeah.
I did the mid one. I'm sorry, Greg. I meant to hit the big one. Anyways, he's got a match. It's the open challenge. And I love how he knows Logan Paul's on the other screen. And then other people are watching the other screen and he's making fun of Logan Paul. Good for you.
Yeah.
Well landed, LA Knight.
He says that he wasn't going to defend his title belt twice a year like Logan Paul did.
Yep. So earlier in the night, I did skip over one segment. Earlier in the night, we have the bloodline in the back, and this begins the beginning of our storyline throughout the thing. As the bloodline turns, and they are looking for people to work with them. They're still looking for their fifth man, and Sammy's trying to talk LA Knight into this, and this sets up his promo, which is hilarious because. Why would you ask LA Knight? He hates Roman Reigns.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what he.
And you tell WWE's hot because they're appearing everywhere, which gives me recap too. Greg, I didn't catch where they were for this t-shirt cannon, but I want to go to that place. Can we go? Can we go, please? Oh, well, then we definitely want to go there. That t-shirt cannon looked awesome, and LA Knight looked like he was having a time of his life.
Yeah, no, he came in there in that arena that they were filming the show in. Yeah.
All right. So he is looking for a challenge. He called open challenge. Legado del Fantasma comes out, and the first thing I notice is all the guys are in their gear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Smart. It means that you don't. We're expecting a specific wrestler to challenge, but by doing that, we knew that there might be a swerve, and we got a swerve, and I like the swerve.
I did too.
Santos wants to challenge for the title, but it turns out that Berto's looking too hard at LA Knight, and then LA Knight decides that he is going to be Eli Drake for a few minutes. Greg, this is where the episode title comes from. You go ahead. This made you belly laugh.
The line of the night here that, like I said, literally made me belly laugh was when LA Knight, looking across the ring, says, "The only one calling me daddy is your girl over here." I legitimately popped for that line. Well done, LA Knight.
And then he said he was going to knock Berto out. And while saying the catchphrase, LA Knight, the crowd popped. Everybody was pissed. And it was this turned out to be an incredible match. So Berto is really good. LA Knight jumps the top ropes, does not slip like he did in Saudi Arabia. He gets pushed off the top rope. Berto hits a fantastic top rope dropkick. Berto then gets bounced off the table. But Berto hits, when he gets pushed off of a roll-up, he lands on the middle ropes and comes springboard back at LA Knight, or maybe it was the bottom rope, and does a spin kick. Like, Berto's timing and LA Knight's timing was incredible tonight. These guys why is this not our best of 36?
Because they don't like us that much.
So Berto ends up going for this moonsault, which is gorgeous, by the way. He gets so much height that he can eat boots to the face. Then Knight tries something. He tries an elbow that gets dodged, but he eventually does hit his mid rope elbow, where he's on the middle rope, jumps to the top and hits the elbow, and then blunt force trauma for the win. Before we get into the shenanigans, Greg, best match of the night.
I would agree.
I can't even say anything else was that close, because we got screw finishes in some of the other matches, and like Berto, how are these guys not? And I know the other guy can go. Why is this tag team not somewhere in the mix?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking here.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. All the members of Legado can go. They just need to figure out what to do with them, because these guys need to be in the mix.
No, that's fair. That's very fair.
And they're not going to be in the mix for the U.S. title because Shinsuke Nakamura is back with some sort of crazy, creepy paint.
What
and
is
he
it?
blasts
Now the Lost Samurai or some bullshit?
the Ronin samurai.
The Rogue Samurai, maybe?
Yeah, it was either Rogue or Ronin. So Ronin would be appropriate because Ronin is a masterless samurai. So it's the theory. There's a great black and white movie called uh the Ronin, and the concept of the Ronin is that you just wander the earth seeking trying to do the good or whatever. And the movie starts with the Ronin coming to a fork in the road. He picks up a stick and he throws it in the air and it lands and points in one direction. So he goes that way. And so that's the idea, is that you're just this, you're just kind of you go as the wind goes. And it works for Shinsuke. And yeah, I love the idea of like, he comes back, he's learned a new hold, he's got a little bit of face paint, he's no longer wearing pretty colors, he's dressed in black. He's kind of he's a sociopath. And this is where Shinsuke fits in. Whether he beats LA Knight or not, it doesn't matter. This is great.
Yeah, I'm okay with this. I mean, I was surprised. I was not expecting to see the return of Shinsuke Nakamura here. But yeah, I'll tune in.
Well, we need somebody to be in this title mix. And because I don't want to see our best of 97 competitors for a long time. I don't even want them to see them wrestle each other anymore.
That's fair.
Yeah, and we've released some people off this roster too, so you're not getting Baron Corbin in this mix, and Apollo Crews has fallen off the face of the
earth. Yes, unfortunately, no Q2.
He's not answering his phone late on a Friday evening.
Do you know what's happening if someone tries to call him on a Friday evening?
I don't know, Greg. What's happening when he calls him on a Friday evening?
Your call cannot be completed as dialed. This phone is no longer in service.
Well done.
I try.
And I had my finger on the button, knowing that that's what was coming. Gregory
I wasn't sure if you even had the do.
No, I definitely had the bump because I knew you were tying everything together. You've made that joke twice, so by the time we get to the end of this episode, if anybody who hasn't watched and just listens to us, God help you. Also, you'll know why we keep making that joke.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Next chapter, and as the bloodline turns, we have the three other members. They're meeting in front of Roman's locker room, and I'm waiting for them to go in there and get beat up. And was I the only one that thought that was a possibility?
I did not. That's not where I was going.
So they go in, and we get Roman there. Roman has his throne set up, and the other three stand up. I love how it's like, we're all equals, but we're not putting chairs in a circle.
Yeah, no, you stand, I sit.
And they can't find a fifth member, and then there's a hint that you need to make the call. Jimmy kept saying, make the call, and then it turns out it's Jay later. But this time, they don't get to make any calls because the new bloodline comes out. They're out in the ring. Acknowledge Me happens in the ring. And
okay, before that, like, as that's happening, I love that the TV screen next to Roman and them got switched over to the live feed so you could see Solo coming out. It was a really great... It's stuff that makes sense and kind of ties stuff together.
Why aren't they watching the Tyson fight?
That was...
It froze.
Oh, no, wait. It's at 25% loading.
Oh, the Wi-Fi in the arena wasn't that good. So, yes. And then that leads to them getting up and going out to the ring. Acknowledge Me's done. And then the OG bloodline comes out. And they just march to the ring and the fight is on. And the OG bloodline looks like they've got the advantage. And my favorite part about this is the Sammy's left in the ring. And Roman spears Solo, saving Sammy from a Samoan spike. There's a little nod, and then Sammy takes off and dives to the outside, leaving Solo in the ring with Roman. And just when you think stuff's going to go down, we get to stare off with Jacob and Roman. They're the only two left in the ring. And again, I think that this time something's going to happen. But Bronson Reed comes out. Big Bronson Reed. Greg, I know you're not a regular viewer of Raw. How did you feel? How did Big Bronson Reed strike you as he arrived to the scene?
So honestly, the first thing I thought of when I saw this was I looked at my clock and was like, okay, this is a great way to end SmackDown.
And it's not.
And it's not. I was like, well, what the hell were they doing? Like this, I was like, this is the perfect end to the show. But
I felt so bad for the matches that came after this because this was the main event.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, I was so wrong, and I'm okay with being wrong on this because I love the way that they actually ended the show even better. Um, that being said, Bronson Reed here was an animal, and it totally made sense. But this time has me thinking, like as they kept saying through the night, make the call, make the call. All I could think about was we're going to add Seth Rollins to this too, and God, I don't want him involved.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be Seth because Seth is feuding with Bronson. But it also makes sense. This is basically he's brought back his two factions together. Those are what's left of the Shield and what's left of the Bloodline.
Yeah.
So anyways, Bronson is a machine. We get the tsunami. We get a moonsault. And there's a ton of damage taken by Roman. And Michael Cole says, if he's the fifth member, the original Bloodline is screwed. Greg, are they screwed?
No, they're not.
Okay. And in case you missed that, recap number 3. We get a recap of what just happened right after the commercial. Although this one I don't mind because it makes sense because it is the main story of the show. And it is this, whether we like it or not, this is as the Bloodline turns.
Yep. They're going to give it to you.
So our tag team title match is the first of 2 title matches tonight. We're getting the Motor City Machine Guns versus the Street Profits. Street Profits are, story of this match, Street Profits are no longer fun. They are pissed off.
Yeah, no, it's fair.
The Machine Guns start with their classic offense, with their that low drop kick. When the title when the tide turns, not the title turns, because there's no title turning. The tide turns and the Street Profits get on offense. That I'm gonna say, like, is it a charge? It's not quite a spear, maybe a pounce. When he comes around the corner and he hits Chris Sabin and pushes him over the desk, that looks phenomenal.
It does, yeah.
Yeah. So the Motor City Machine Guns are one of them is isolated. The double team's on, and it must have been the opposite because it was not Chris Sabin who took that. It was
Alex Shelley.
Yeah, Shelley took that. We are then going to get the double team offense after Sabin gets tagged in. Sabin is a house of fire. They get the Machine Guns drop kick flatliner spot. The Street Profits are about to do their double team and it looks like they might actually win when Ciampa comes in, just Ciampa, and he has the match thrown out because he attacks. So a DQ is called. Ciampa gets thrown out. Johnny Gargano comes out to be the peacemaker, and Ciampa pushes him on his ass and says, "We didn't talk about this. I told you. We talked about being champions. I told you I want to be the champion." And he storms off. And Johnny, like a little puppy, chases after him. This is leading to that Ciampa Gargano feud.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think it should have gone this way this quick, but yeah.
I'm okay with it getting there. I just don't want it this quick. I think I'm 100% on side with you. And so Motor City Machine Gun try to pick up the Street Profits. Hey man, this isn't how we wanted this to go. We're really sorry. And then Dawkins just punches Alex Shelley in the face. I love it. We need some heel tag teams. We don't need that many face tag teams.
Yeah, I guess, but it's just the real question though is, are they resigned? Because there's talk that they aren't, and yeah, so I don't know.
They did hint in this match that these guys might be splitting up. I think that's bad for both of them.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
The singles division is too. Listen, you know what to be the smart thing to do is make them jerks and add in. There is another guy that could add in that's not doing so well, and just make them a trio and have the tag team mix and match like the New Day used to.
Yeah, you could.
There, Greg, who am I thinking about? I'll give you a hint. He's in a best of 7 hell.
See, I didn't think you were going there.
Well, you could put Apollo Crews in this mix. That would be another one.
It's Apollo Crews.
Yeah, the other option is you could put Carmelo Hayes. Either one is a good fit for this group.
Fair. Yeah.
Or you could dump both those guys into a faction, and it would be better for everybody involved because at least they'd all be on TV every week.
Again, that's also not wrong either.
So right now, that's the tag team division is in chaos. Motor City Machine Guns feel like they've been here forever, and not in a bad way. They just fit.
They do. They really do.
And so we're going to get some follow-up to this. I hope these 3 teams get a match on Saturday night's main event. That's what I'm hoping for now.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that that's where we were going to get out of this, is we were going to get, okay, let's just do this as a 3-way. But that's not how we went there. So, wait, we'll see.
Well, they're building.
Yeah.
Greg, what a novel concept. We didn't just get what we wanted without notice with a drop on WWE.com at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Again, that's very fair.
Our last recap of the night is Naomi showing how she got this title match. And then I love this piece. Bayley wishes Naomi luck and says, but you can't trust Io. Meanwhile, in comes the tag champs, Bianca and Jade, and they're like, I think there's something like, I hate to use the phrase because I know it's got a racial undertone, but this is the pot calling the kettle black.
Oh, I got it.
Like, it is you guys were both beating me up. Bianca's basically like, wait a second, hold on
here, wait a minute.
Anyways, I'm dying. I can't wait for this to so this is where I think this main event does a really good job of setting up the women's war game match. So our main event is Naomi versus Nia Jax 1-on-1. And the story of this match is Naomi can hit a move, but Nia Jax is just going to crush her.
Yeah. Yeah.
And most of this match is her selling. And really, this match doesn't get started for me until the attack in the back, because Morgan and Raquel attack. They show that Naomi is being watched by her friends in the back, which are Jade and Bianca. I don't know where Bayley is.
That's a good question.
So we'll just pretend that Bayley left. She went home for the night. So they get attacked by Morgan and Raquel. And Naomi's best chance comes with her split-legged moonsault. She could tell that she thought she was going to win. She didn't. And this is when the shenanigans starts. First, we get Tiffy out. That's part of the distraction. Then comes Candice. And this all ends with a slam off the top rope, which, boy, oh boy, Naomi must have some trust for Nia Jax.
Obviously.
Yeah. And then she gets finished with a top rope Samoan drop and an annihilator. Boy, oh boy. Naomi took a pounding in this match, and it kind of sets up 5 heels picking on the baby faces.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I think you're right. I think that's probably what's going to happen. I wasn't sure. I'm still not 100% sure that's going to happen at War Games, but I mean, that's what makes the most sense. So we'll see.
Well, let's make up our team right now. So we know that we have Nia's team. Part of the team is Nia, Candice, and Tiffy.
Right.
And the tag champs just got attacked by Morgan and Raquel.
There's 5.
Okay, on the other side, we have Jade, Bianca, and Naomi, the big 3.
Yep.
I would say that you're going to get the challenger on Raw currently for Liv Morgan's title is Io Sky.
Yeah.
That leaves 1, and you know who came back during the taping last week? If you don't want to know, click ahead 10 seconds, maybe 15.
I don't know.
Raquel Rodriguez came back with a face mask, or
Rhea Ripley.
Rhea Ripley came back with wearing the Undertaker mask.
Gotcha.
As you called all these things.
Yeah. So here's the thing: when you started kind of listing those people off, I was like, okay. I was like, maybe Bailey would be in there, but of course, the minute you said Io Sky, I'm like, we can't put Bailey and Io Sky together.
But that doesn't mean that I don't think Bailey's not going to get involved. It's Bailey's the odd woman out, and in fairness, the other women who are not going to be involved with this, especially the SmackDown women, there's something going on. It's called the U.S. title tournament.
It's very fair.
So I think that there's lots going on in the women's division. The title is very important. Now that I know, we haven't seen any of the Raw women cross over to this tournament, so I think there's going to be an Intercontinental title coming on the other side, and it should be. But I'm happy they're not just dumping both titles at the same time.
Yeah, no, it's fair. So,
Greg,
the Intercontinental title, it should, to honor the lineage of the Intercontinental title, should be first defended in a tournament in Brazil.
Well, they have the tournament in Brazil, and the champion comes back.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's how if they do a women's Intercontinental title, that's how it should be picked.
Untelevised tournament in Brazil.
Yeah, you can't televise that shit.
Ironically, they are overseas, but not in Brazil. They're in Europe. Yeah.
So, all right.
I think we're getting that match. Greg, our main event of the show actually was the arrival of was back in the room. Roman Reigns has finally listened to his cousins, and he is going to make a phone call.
That's right.
And when he calls, what happens?
When he calls, he asks the phone to call the wise man, and it plays the sound that your call could not be completed as dialed. The number has been disconnected.
So, yeah. I think they missed an opportunity. I think he shouldn't have called don't think he should have said call Wiseman. I think he should have just called, and it should have just been a call. And it could have been that way. It could have been if he was calling Seth.
Yeah.
It could have been Seth. I don't think it could necessarily should be the wise man, but it doesn't matter, Greg. It's wow. I am not surprised that Paul Heyman's not coming back right away. I like this twist because we do need Paul Heyman involved in this, but especially if Seth is the fifth man, which he's probably going to be, you need somebody to be the peacemaker in this match because nobody likes Roman.
No, it's fair.
And in fairness, Roman has spent the last couple of years killing everybody on SmackDown.
That's 100% fair.
So Greg, I feel as if we are setting up for a very good Survivor Series coming from beautiful Vancouver, but we have nothing left to talk about. So let's go to the synopsis.
This is your SmackDown synopsis.
All right, Greg. So at the very end, we're going to do a quick synopsis where we're just going to do the things that you would keep and the things that you would cut, but we'll go through it the old-fashioned way. For those of you listening for the first time, this is very simple. What we do is we keep certain things, we cut certain things, and we choose to shorten super things, which is called a superstar special in honor of our childhoods of watching Superstars of Wrestling, where really the only time we saw important matches, they were in clip form.
Yep. All right.
Greg, how do you feel about the beginning of SmackDown, where they have people walking in and out? Do you like this? Do you not like this?
Cut.
Cody and Nick Aldis stand in the middle of the ring. What do you want to do, Greg?
I think we keep this. So I've got to be honest with you. I thought here's when Cody Rhodes was going to have to call out Triple H, not Paul Levesque.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's next week. During the tapings, they call out Triple H, not Paul Levesque.
Yeah.
U.S. title tournament. Bayley, Candice LeRae, and B-Fab. What do you want to do with this?
Superstar.
yeah, this match, it wasn't that it was bad. It just, I know why it had to be a triple threat because we saw Candice lose to Bayley last week. So they needed to make this.
Yeah.
But again, I think if you give B-Fab reps, because I don't want to shit on her for no reason, Greg, she's great. Like, she's got potential. It's just, like, yeah, I'd have to look up her cage match. I don't think she's had a match in 2 years.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
LA Knight versus Legado, and the talking is these things are together, Greg. You have to decide as a whole.
Oh, wow. I was going to say, I was going to cut the talking part, but I remember that's where the title of this episode comes from, so I can't cut that. So no, we'll keep it all.
Yeah. Dude, he was hilarious, and then they had an even better match.
Yep. No, I agree.
And I'm including Nakamura's attack in there because this was one of the best. This might be, other than the Bloodline segment, the best segment because we got funny, we got a great match, and we got story progression.
Oh, all three.
As the Bloodline turns, Greg, what do you want to do with the Bloodline saga this week?
We can keep it all. Why'd you do that? I said we can keep it all.
Oh, I thought you said you couldn't keep it all. In which case, then that's...
Acknowledge me.
Oh, I thought you cut it down.
No, I said we can keep it all.
All right. I know you did. I hit the wrong button, but it's fine.
All right.
That's a hilarious piece. Those of you watching at home, this is what happens when you don't label your buttons well. Actually, I got to move my button machine. I keep leaning in like this when I'm talking to you because it's like a little farther away. Gregory, we're going to keep going. And this leads us into Motor City Machine Guns versus Street Profits and all of the nonsense at the end.
I think we can keep all this.
Ooh, I did not see that one coming.
It's Tiffy time.
Yeah. We also skipped over during our recap of the Tiffany Stratton U.S. title backstage stuff, but I generally don't. The talking bits.
Yeah.
It's not that Candice was bad. It's just like, eh. All right. Main event match was Naomi versus Nia Jax.
This is going to be a superstar special.
Basically, from when the tag champs get attacked in the back,
yeah,
like you can skip all the way till that. It was.
That point,
it's not that this was not a bad match. It's just, I think the problem is that Nia Jax is I'm going to say is a B+ wrestler on her best night.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. And then
and they suffered from position. I get they wanted to win the main event.
Like the show needed to be restacked a little bit because, yeah.
Yes, because the biggest thing everybody's going to be talking about is not that we might get a women's war game match. It's the piece at the end, which I know you're keeping. It's the part with the bloodline at the end.
Yep.
Yeah, so... Because this episode, the other name for this episode is As the Bloodline Turns. Like, that is why SmackDown is significantly better than it was 4 months ago. Because, well, since Roman's return before SummerSlam and everything since it's been all about Roman. And the other thing is it makes the rest of the stuff more interesting around it because they're not having to carry the bulk of the show.
Yeah. No, for sure.
If you notice, our opinion on LA Knight has changed. Our opinion on the tag titles has changed. Cody, everything has changed because they have something else. It's almost as if we had all the right ingredients for a delicious sandwich, but we didn't have any meat in the sandwich.
And we needed some roast beef.
We needed some roast beef is what we needed. We needed high quality roast beef.
Right.
All right, Greg. So next week, you are on special assignment. So we will see you back in 2 weeks, probably. So that means you're back. Is that just before Survivor Series then?
I will be. Yeah, I'm on special assignment next week, so I will return for
the Superstar special because we will be recording an episode. Probably we'll try and record that episode right after SmackDown that week and do the speed run because Survivor Series will be from Vancouver the following, and it's early. It is an hour early. God bless WWE for starting these shows earlier and earlier.
What the PLE?
The PLE is an hour earlier. It's got a special start time.
8 o'clock Atlantic, 7 Eastern.
Yeah, baby.
Nice.
So that is the show for this week. The next up in sequence is you're going to get story time with Jimmy. Jimmy has, if you've listened to the main show, you know that we're going to get another fun story from Jimmy about him having to carry the IC title through an airport, which comes out of the conversation. Go back and listen to a great interview that Donnie always has great interviews, but he had Davey Boy Smith Jr. on the show, who has just won the Triple Crown Championship over in Japan. After this, you're going to get the Raw Dogs. They have a taped episode of Raw, which will be very funny to have them review. Also, back on the network is Steve Swift. Steve, I love you. I missed you, and I'm so happy to have you back. I love your reviews, and to have you on the team is always, well, you add some class, not just because of your lovely English accent, because you are a classy gentleman. And with the rest of these scrubs over here, we definitely need some class.
Fair.
And the main show is moved to Wednesday. You can listen to it live on TSN Radio, or you can find it on all of your favorite platforms. We are on social media. Greg, we didn't get our t-shirts yet, so we can't do our t-shirt draw this week.
It'll happen.
I just realized that. So I will wait until Greg comes back. Maybe that's what we'll do. We'll do it we'll do it as a Survivor Series giveaway.
We'll see.
Well, the other problem is, even if I got the shirts, Greg, I can't send them anywhere.
Can't send them anywhere. Thanks, Canada Post. So
I'm going to blame Canada Post for this one and not Randy, because so for those of you listening outside the U.S., in the U.S. and internationally, our postal service went on strike.
That's right.
They went on strike, Greg, and they were offered. Did you hear? Okay, if you're,
but that's it. We gotta get the home on this one, dude.
All right. Good night. Goodbye, Canada Post. I don't like you, and Netflix, fix this before we arrive to Raw. Good night.
All right. Good night.
Goodbye. We the ones.
The revolutionary podcast in sports entertainment. Father Greg and Brad, the dad bless you all, the lovely tales of Friday night, SmackDown and beyond. Go to the outer limits of your mind with the SmackDaddies. Go to the outer limits of your mind.